Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimiraandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunvalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yutapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshataruni. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for this special series of sessions on the glories of holy name and also on the Mukundamala Stotra in the next few days. And I'm really very grateful to be amongst all of you. Last year we had several sessions, series of sessions on various topics like Gajendra episode, Kunti's prayers, Krishna Kaliya, Prahalada Narasimha, all that. So this time we are having some sessions on the holy name and also on Mukundamala Stotra. So this morning we will discuss some glories of the holy name of Krishna, and this evening again we will discuss a few more. And the whole content for today's presentation is based on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Padyavali, Mukundamala Stotra, and few pastimes of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations, and also some inspiring statements by Prabhupada. So the glories of Krishna's names are really unlimited, and no one can completely understand the depth and the expanse of the glory of even one name of Krishna. To that degree, Krishna Nama is so glorious. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right in the middle of Bhagavad Gita has 700 shlokas. The middlemost two shlokas, which is shloka number 350 and 351, means 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 13th and 14th shlokas. Krishna describes the glories of bhakti and specifically the glories of chanting. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Devotees are those people who always chant the holy names of the Lord. Satatam means always. And even in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, "No, can I share the screen? I have some shlokas to show. If I can share the screen, I can."
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Power of Krishna's name. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yajnanam japa yajnosmi. Of all the types of sacrifices, he is japa yajna, means the sacrifice of chanting the holy names of Krishna. So, to do it personally, to inaugurate the process of Harinama Sankirtana, that Supreme Lord, that speaker of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, personally comes in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he establishes this Sankirtana Yajna. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord said, Yajnanam japa yajnosmi. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Bhagavatam, it is said that Yajnaihi Sankirtana prayehi yajantihi sumedhasaha. So, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastrapaharshadam Yajnaihi Sankirtana prayehi yajantihi sumedhasaha. That Supreme Lord Krishna, who has emphasized on the process of chanting the holy names of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he personally appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he propagated the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. He propagated Sankirtana Yajna. Right? So, Yajnaihi Sankirtana Praya Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. Intelligent people worship the Lord in Kali Yuga by chanting the holy names. Now, one may get a doubt. This process of chanting the holy names of Krishna is relevant only in Kali Yuga. Our scriptures say that Kalikale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. In Kali Yuga, the Lord appears in the form of holy name. And we also have so many such shlokas. Harer Nama, Harer Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, Nasti Eva Gatiranyatha. So, the holy name of Lord Hari or Krishna is the only means of deliverance or liberation in this age of Kali. Kalau Nastiyeva Gatiranyatha. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. So much of repetition is here. So Eva is repeated 3 times. Nastiyeva. Eva means certainly. That is repeated 3 times for emphasis. Harer Nama is also repeated 3 times. Harer Nama Eva Kevala. So 3 times it is repeated so that common people can understand. Kevala means only. That is, even after repeating 3 times each word, again Kevala is added. So that Kevala word prohibits all other processes like Jnana, Yoga, Tapa, Karma. So the means of liberation in Kali Yuga is not Jnana or Yoga or Tapa or Karma. It is only Nama, Harer Nama. Okay. Nahi, Nasti Eva. That is also repeated just to emphasize that the real process of liberation is to chant the holy names of the Lord. So our scriptures are emphasizing on this aspect of chanting the holy names of the Lord repeatedly. So repetition shows the importance of something. And what is the mood in which we have to chant? Yes, in Kali Yuga, the only process is to chant the holy names of the Lord. So I'll come to this mood of chanting a little later. But before that, let's try to contemplate on this one point. In Kali Yuga, the process of reaching the Lord is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Okay. What about other yugas? Holy name is not effective. Harer Nama is not effective in Dwapara Yuga. Harer Nama is not effective in Treta Yuga or Satya Yuga. So Harer Nama, Krishna's names, are effective in any Yuga. Harinam is not the process of deliverance, or it has efficacy only in this Yuga. It has efficacy in all Yugas. However, the additional advantage of Kali Yuga people is they have less lifespan. So earlier people had long lifespan and many other advantages. We'll discuss that one by one. In the previous Yugas, people had a lot of intellectual strength, physical strength, concentration, and and many other things they have. But because they are so qualified in various ways, they may not consider the simple process of chanting the holy names of the Lord to be the greatest means of deliverance. We are more qualified. We can do many more things. I can do big sacrifices with first-class ingredients, employing best type of priests, or I can do meditation underwater for 10,000 years, okay, or I can do elaborate deity worship. So like that, people find various ways and means for liberation, and they're more qualified. So they may not consider the simple process of chanting Krishna's names as a means of reaching God in the previous years. Okay, and additionally, the climate in those days, the overall ambience of the earthly planet in those days, in the previous yugas, was not as terrible as it is in Kali Yuga. So Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. But that statement, that material world is dukkhalayam and ashashvatam, can be best realized in Kali Yuga. So a Kali Yuga person has the best experience of the miserable nature of this material world. The Kali Yuga person has the best experience of the temporary nature of the material world. And Kali Yuga person is more desperate to take shelter of the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Right? So the desperation makes holy name more accessible to Kali Yuga people, more utilizable to Kali Yuga people than in other places, than in other yugas. Right? Even some people in the previous yugas desire to take birth in Kali Yuga. Lifespan is less, and the process of liberation is very easy. So let us do this. Let us get into Kali Yuga. Even the Devatas and the upper planets also desire to take birth in Kali Yuga as human beings, especially in this case when Mahaprabhu appeared, so that going back to Godhead becomes very, very easy for them. Okay. So now what is the mood in which we have to chant the holy names? Let us see. The Supreme Lord says, Sunichatva. One has to be humbler than a blade of grass. Amanitva. One should not desire respect from others. One should not hanker for honor from others. Manada. One should be willing to offer all kinds of respects to everyone else. One should respect all living beings. Sahishnutva. One has to have tolerance or forbearance like a tree. No retaliation, no demands on the part of a tree. So to that degree, a tree is tolerant. So if one cultivates this quality of tolerance, then in this mood, one can effectively chant the holy names of the Lord. Kirtanaya sada harihi becomes very easy when we have these four qualities. Right? So that's why Mahaprabhu says, he gives the process of chanting of the holy names, and he also says, take this additional shloka and put it as kantimala around your neck, he says. So what is that kantimala? Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya hasada harihi. What we have discussed so far. So humility, tolerance, respect, and not hankering for respect from others. These four qualities facilitate our chanting, and we can chant effectively when we cultivate these qualities. Okay. So, and that holy name of the Lord will act like fire that burns dry grass. Ajnanad athava ajnanat uttama shloka namayat sankirtitam agham pumso dahed yedho yathanalah. Ajnanat athava ajnanat. Whether you know or not, if you chant the holy names of the Lord, then all the sinful reactions are completely destroyed, just like fire burns dry grass. So when fire burns wet grass, you may get some smoke, and the grass may not completely or conveniently burn to ashes. But dry grass can immediately become ash. So similarly, whether we know the glories of the holy name or not, whether we attend a holy name seminar or not, when we chant the holy names of the Lord, the holy names are very effective. Of course, whenever we have the opportunity, we can come together and discuss the holy names of the Lord, discuss the glories of the Lord's name. But whether someone chants in knowledge or without knowledge, holy name works. And Yathagadam viryatamam upayuktam yadrichaya ajanatopyatma gunam kuryan mantropyudahritah. So, a patient may not know the ingredients of a medicine. Sometimes one may know, but sometimes, most of the times, people may not know what's there in this capsule. There is a red color and white color. Inside there are small balls. So what's there in the capsule, the patient may not know. But keeping trust in the advice, in the prescription of the doctor, if one takes that medicine, one's disease will be cured. Similarly, our scriptures and our acharyas and the Supreme Lord personally is recommending, is giving a recommendation that we all have to chant the holy names of the Lord. And that is the best way to reach the Lord. So keeping trust in that, if you take the capsule or the medicine of Krishna Nama, that will definitely work. Right? So this is not emphasizing blind faith. It is emphasizing that even without knowledge, if you chant the holy names of the Lord, what will happen if you also try to understand the glories of holy name as described in the scriptures, and with that conviction you chant, it will definitely work. Right? So Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahena Krishna seva Vaishnava sevan nirantara kara Krishna nama sankirtan. So Mahaprabhu's constant instruction to his associates, especially the Bengal devotees who come to Jagannath Puri every year to attend Rath Yatra festival, is that we should always serve Krishna, serve Vaishnavas, and chant the holy names of the Lord. Personally, you chant on your japa beads, and congregationally, you chant in Harinam Sankirtan. So that holy name of Krishna is the most effective medicine for the material disease of Kali Yuga. So the conclusion of Vedic research is that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Iti shodashakam nam kali kalmashanashanam. Natah parataropayah sarva vedeshu drishyate. So natah parataropayah. The chanting of the 16 words, the 16 words of mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is the best way to come out of the contamination of Kali Yuga. There is no other way. Natah paratara upayat. There is no other upaya. There is no other means. Sarva vedeshu drishyate. You chant, you refer all the Vedas and search all the Puranas. What is the best way to come out of the contamination of Kali Yuga? You will find only one solution. That is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Mahaprabhu, with great joy, he would chant when he went to South India Yatra. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant like this: Krishna 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 Hey, Krishna 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 Hey, Krishna 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 Rakshama, Krishna 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 Pahima, Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama, Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahima. So this is the joy of chanting Krishna Nam, Krishna Mantra. So Mahaprabhu personally experienced this spiritual bliss of chanting Krishna's names, and he distributed that bliss to everyone. So that is the most munificent incarnation of the Lord, Mahaprabhu, who specifically came on this earthly planet just about 5 centuries back to distribute the nectar of Krishna Mantra, Krishna Prema. So there is a beautiful shloka that describes the sweetness of the Lord's holy name. Madhura madhuram etan mangalam mangalana. Madhura madhuram etan mangalam mangalana. Sakala nigama valliye satvalam chitsvarupam. Sakrudapi parigitam shraddhaya helayava. Bhruguvaranaramatram tarayet Krishna nama. Madhura madhuram etam mangalam mangalana. Krishna's name is so sweet. Madhura madhuram etam. Of all sweet things, the sweetest thing that is available in the entire cosmos is Krishna Nama. Madhura Madhurametam Mangalam Krishna Mangalam Mangalana. Of all the auspicious things, the most auspicious thing is Krishna. Okay, it's the sweetest and it is the most auspicious. Sakala Nigamavalli Satphalam Chitswarupam. So this transcendental holy name is the divine fruit of the wine of Vedic literature. Sakala Nigama Valli. Nigama means Vedic literatures. They are compared with Valli, means a vine, a creeper. So that creeper gives birth to a flower, that is phalam, sat phalam, a good fruit, a ripened fruit that comes from the Nigama Valli, is a holy name. And it is Chit Swarupam, it is transcendental, it is divine. Just like Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to the ripened fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. Okay. So, Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Sukamukhadamritadrava Samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhavi Bhavuka. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. Now, in this shloka, even holy name is also compared to the divine fruit of the divine creeper of Vedic literatures. So Bhagavatam also emphasizes on the holy name. We'll discuss more from Bhagavatam shlokas. Right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, right in the first chapter, Apannaha Samshritam Dhoram Yan Nama Vivasho Granan, the glory of holy name of Krishna is described in the first chapter of Bhagavatam. And in the last chapter of Bhagavatam, last shloka of Bhagavatam also, holy name of Krishna is described. In the middle, several times the description of Krishna's name will come. So Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. And Bhagavatam is specifically and repeatedly emphasizing on the process of chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And Mahaprabhu, who adored Srimad Bhagavatam as the topmost evidence available for the humanity, he took the essence of Bhagavatam in the form of holy name and he propagated that essence far and wide. He distributed that holy name to everyone. Okay. So, next. Sakridapi parigitam Shraddhaya helayava Bhruguvara naramatram Tarayed Krishna nama Sakridapi parigitam Shraddhaya helayava. Even if you chant once, Sakrit api means even once if you chant, what happens? Shraddhaya, with faith, or helayava. Helana means contempt, or not so much interest, not so much eagerness. Whether you chant with faith or without faith, okay, it will deliver. So, Naramatram Tarayet Krishna Nama. The power of Krishna Nama is that it can deliver people even if they chant with neglect. There is another shloka. Sanketyam parihasyam vastobham helanameva Vaikunthanama grahanam aseshadharam viduh. Sanketyam, to indicate someone else. You chant Krishna's name. Hey Krishna, come here. You're not chanting, you're not calling Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. You're calling somebody whose name is Krishna. But that also purifies. Okay. So Sanketyam parihasyam, you're joking with someone. Hey Ram is like this. You're joking with somebody. That joke also purifies. Sanketyam parihasyam va stobham helanameva. All these are different ways of chanting the holy names without any intention, without any faith, without any devotion. Even that also purifies a person. What will happen if someone chants the holy names with great eagerness, with great love, with great devotion? So Ajamil chanted the holy names of Krishna to indicate his son. He said Narayana to call his son, not Lord Narayana. Still he is purified. Ajamil chanted without faith. But what will happen if he chant with faith? Ajamil chanted to call his son. What will happen if you directly call the Lord? Ajamil chanted Narayana by leading a sinful life. What will happen if we chant Narayana or Krishna by leading a pure life, following the regulative principles? Ajamil chanted Narayana at the time of death. What will happen if we chant the name of Narayana or Krishna throughout our lifetime? Okay. So the whole episode of Ajamil, which is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, is not meant to encourage us to live the life any way we want and at the end chant Narayana. We'll go back to that. Not like that. So, if Ajamil could be delivered, such a person who committed so many sinful activities could be delivered by chanting the holy names of the Lord. What will happen if I eagerly chant, if I intentedly chant? So that is the glory of Krishna Nama. It's the sweetest of all sweet things. So, Shraddhaya Helayava, whether you chant with faith or contempt, Tarayet Krishna Nama, that is the mercy of holy name of Krishna. Okay. हे मर्त्याः परमं हितं शृणुतवो वक्ष्यामि संक्षेपतः संसारार्णवमापदूर्मिबहुलं सम्यक् प्रविश्य स्थिताः नानाज्ञानमपास्य चेतसि नमो नारायणायेत्यमुम् मन्त्रं सप्रणवं प्रणामसहितं प्रावर्तयेद्भं बहु हे मर्त्याः परमं हितं शृणुतवो. Oh मर्त्या, oh human being, please listen to this good advice that I am going to give you. What is that? Paramam hitam, supreme advice. Vakshyami sankshepadah. If you don't have time, I will tell you in concisely. Sankshepadah means concise. It's a shortened advice. You understand your situation? Samsararnavamapa bahulam samyak pravishya sthitah. We have entered deep within the ocean of samsara, this material existence. And you are being tossed by the waves of this samsara, and they are the difficulties in this material world. All the miseries of the material world are like tides of ocean that drown a person, right? And Nana Gnanamapasya Chetasi Namo Narayana Yetyavum. Keep aside all your philosophical knowledge and analysis. Nana Gnanamapasya Chetasi Namo. To come out of the material existence, to come out of this material ocean, you may think that this is the way, that is the way. You may find multiple ways, but keep aside all those ideas. What I would say is, you can just focus on my advice that I'm going to give you. What is that? Namo Narayanayethyamum. Just chant the holy name of Narayana. Mantram. Sab pranamam. Along with Narayana, Namo Narayana, you also add pranava, Omkara. Then it becomes Om Namo Narayana. Pranama Sahitam. Offer obeisances to the Lord also. Pravartayedham muhu. Practice like this. So this is by Kulashekar Alvar in the Sri Sampradaya. So it is recommended by all Vaishnava schools. Not that the holy name of Krishna, holy name of Narayana, basically holy name of the Supreme Lord, is not a recommendation of only one Vaishnava school, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Only. No, even Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya also says this. They also emphasize on chanting the holy names of Narayana. So all Vaishnava schools recommend chanting the holy names of the Lord. Every puja, every ritual that they do, every sacrifice that they do, is beginning with the chanting of the holy names, and it consists of chanting of the holy names throughout and at the end also. So holy name of the Lord, chanting the holy names of the Lord is a part of one's process of bhakti for anyone. And it is effective in all ages, not only in Kali Yuga. It's not that only Kali Yuga people chant and other people need not chant. They also can chant, but they don't chant sometimes because they think that they can do more elaborate things. Okay, so if we really chant the holy names of the Lord, like one can experience great amount of pleasure, spiritual bliss. Every single one of us has the ability to relish the holy name of the Lord to this extent that we will see now. Tunde Tandavini Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karnakrodakadambini Ghatayate Karnarbhute Bhyaspraham Chetaha Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendriyana Kritam No Jane Janita Kiyadbhiramrtai Krishneti Varanadvayi Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye. The holy name of Krishna is dancing on my tongue. I feel like having millions of tongues. And when the holy name of Krishna is entering my ear holes, I feel like having millions of ears. And when the holy name of Krishna is dancing in the courtyard of my heart, I feel like not acting with any of my senses at all. Right? So no jane janita yadhiramrtaihi krishneti varnadvayi. I don't understand what great nectar and sweetness is embedded within these two syllables of Krishna. Two things. So Krishna, these two syllables can captivate the heart of a sincere chanter so much that a chanter desires to have millions of tongues and millions of ears. So all of us have the potential to relish the holy name of Krishna to this degree. To this degree, we can relish the holy name of Krishna. But because of material desires and false ego and so many distractions of Kali Yuga, we do not chant. We do not take so much interest. So it's our misfortune. But still, we have fortune. We can try to practice. Okay? There is always a beginning. and when we show some little interest, Krishna will definitely help us. To the degree we are eager to connect with him, to that degree, he helps us and he facilitates our connection with him. So Krishna's mercy is our hope. And on top of it, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy comes along with that. So that makes the whole process of chanting of the holy names of the Lord very easily accessible to anyone. Okay. So there is another sloka in the Mukundamala that says, Alamalameka Praninam Patakanam Nirasana Vishayeva Krishna Krishneti Vani Yedi Bhavati Mukunde Bhaktirananda Sandra Karatala Kalitasa Moksha Samrajya Lakshmi Alamalalameka Praninam Patakana. So there's a great emphasis given here. There are living beings, there are human beings who must have done unlimited patakas, sinful activities, right? What is the source of deliverance for all of them? Krishna. Alamalameka pranina patakanam nirasana vishayeva Krishna Krishneti Vani. This Vani, this sound vibration of Krishna can completely vanquish all the sinful reactions of a person. Krishna Krishneti Vani. Yedi bhavati mukunde bhaktirananda sandra karatala kalitasa moksha samrajya lakshmi. Yedi bhavati mukunde, if at all we develop some devotion and love for Lord Mukunda by chanting the holy names of Krishna, what will happen? One will get access to the condensed supreme bliss of chanting of spiritual world, and in comparison to that bhaktiananda, that spiritual happiness and spiritual bliss, moksha samrajya lakshmi becomes insignificant. Right? Moksha means liberation. The happiness of liberation, mukti ananda, is not as great as bhakti ananda. So Bhaktyananda, a small trace of Bhaktyananda is millions of times greater than Mukti Ananda. Okay. So holy name can give entrance to such ocean of Bhaktyananda. Right? So that is the greatness of chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Now, we can discuss so many such shlokas to emphasize on the process of this kirtana. So now, why only Krishna Nama? Of all the names of Krishna, the most attractive name is Krishna's name. Okay, but there are other names also which we can relish, which we can happily chant. Okay, so they are mentioned in the scriptures. So now, for example, you see this shloka: Srinatha Narayana Vasudeva Sri Krishna Bhakta Priya Chakrapane Shri Padmanabhaachyuta Kaita Bhare Shri Rama Padmaksha Hare Murare. Srinatha, O Lord, you are the master of Sri, goddess of fortune. Narayana, you lie down on the waters, that's why you are Narayana, and you are all pervading. Vasudeva. Sri Krishna, you are the supreme attractive personality, Krishna. Bhakta Priya, You are very kind and affectionate towards all your devotees. Chakrapane, you hold Sudarshana Chakra in your hands. Shri Padmanabhachuta, Shri Padmanabhachuta Kaita Bhari. Your Padmanabha, the lotus sprouts from your navel. Achyuta, you are infallible. You never fail in your affection for your devotee. Kaita Bhare, you have killed a demon named Kaita Bha. Shri Rama, okay, you are the supreme enjoyer. Padmaksha, you have lotus-like eyes. Hare, you steal away all the difficulties of your devotees. Murare, you have killed a demon named Murare. Mura. So like that, Krishna has unlimited names, unlimited forms. You can chant any of them, no doubt. However, what is so special about this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? You can chant this shloka, right? Srinatha Narayana Vasudeva. That we can chant 16 rounds. Okay, longer shloka. Okay, we'll chant 8 rounds. We can do that. But why specifically Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended on this planet and propagated this Harinama Sankirtana. So another agenda of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in descending on this planet in the form of a sannyasi is that he wants to experience the mode of Srimati Radharani. He wanted to glorify the devotion of Srimati Radharani and all the gopis in general and Radharani in specific, right? So when we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, very important point. I think this 2-3 minutes of our discussion will help our chanting tomorrow better. We are all planning to chant 12 hours, right? Tomorrow, Akshay Tritiya, right? So when I heard this, I also felt inspired. So Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. When you are saying Hare Krishna, what does that mean? Hare is Srimati Radharani. Krishna is Lord Krishna, the supremely attractive personality, Godhead. So when you say Hare Krishna, you are meditating on the Sambhoga pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So the pastimes that Radha and Krishna are doing together when they meet each other are indicated by Hare Krishna and Hare Krishna. Okay, that is Sambhoga. They are experiencing the pleasure of meeting with each other when you say Hare Krishna. But the Madhurya Rasa between Radha and Krishna is experienced in 2 ways. One is Vipralambha, second is Sambhoga. Sambhoga is the joy of union, and Vipralambha is the pain of separation. So Madhurya Rasa or the conjugal rasa between Radha and Krishna is experienced in Vipralambha and Sambhoga. When you say Hare Krishna, that is bringing Radha and Krishna together for doing their wonderful Madhurya pastimes. And we are assisting and serving them in that. So, but when there is separation, Radharani says, Krishna, Krishna. And when there is separation, Krishna says, Hare, Hare. They're separated, right? Radharani is calling out Krishna, Krishna, and Krishna is calling out Hare, Hare. Here Radharani separation is mentioned first. So that is second part of the mantra. Okay, Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare. So they experience that feelings of separation for a while, Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Hare. And in separation, their love for each other increases. So when the lover and the beloved are separated from each other, then they think of their lover even more, with more intensity, with greater remembrance. Right? When they come together, the experience of pain of separation enhances the pleasure of union when they come together again. Right? So with that happiness of again meeting, Krishna becomes Rama. Rama is enjoyer. Krishna is all attractive. Rama is enjoyer. He enjoys with Srimati Radharani. Radharani is Ramani. Krishna is Rama. Rama here is his enjoyer. Okay, he enjoys the company of Srimati Radharani. Enjoys the service of Srimati Radharani. So Krishna becomes Rama. So Hare Rama, they come together again. Okay, so Radharani again comes together with Krishna, who has become Rama, who has become the supreme enjoyer. So Hare Rama. Again there is a separation between them. Then Radharani says, Rama. Ramani Radha says, Rama, where are you? I'm in separation from you. and Krishna says, Hare, Hare, where are you? Okay. So this is the simultaneous meeting and separation that that is experienced uh, by Radha and Krishna. And Hare Krishna Mahamantra is chanted to meditate on and to facilitate the Vipralambha and Sambhoga pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So that is one important explanation given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur to this, a purport given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Bhajana Rahasya for the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is the greatness of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There are so many mantras and so many holy names of the Lord, but Hare Krishna Mahamantra has a very specific understanding here. Now Prabhupada gives a very beautiful explanation. Right? Oh Lord, please engage me in your service. Oh Radha, oh Supreme Energy of Krishna, oh Hari, oh Supreme Lord, please engage me in your service. That's a prayer. So in Sadhaka stage, we are offering this prayer for engagement in the service of Radha and Krishna. So like that, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is explained in various ways by Acharyas, and it can be relished by devotees. Rupa Goswami wrote the Tunde Tandavani Shloka, and Mahaprabhu relished it so much. And so all we need to do is take the process of chanting of the holy names of Krishna very seriously, with full commitment, and cultivate that faith in this process. So when we have full faith and conviction in this process, to that degree we have conviction, to that degree we are committed. To that degree we can chant sincerely and seriously, right? So these are divine names of Krishna. Next, there is another shloka, another popular shloka from Mukundamala. Kshetrachedaika mantram sakalam upanishadvakya sampujya mantram samsaro cheda mantram samuchita tamasaha sangha niryana mantram sarvaishwaryaika mantram vyasana bhujaga sandashta santrana mantram jihve Sri Krishna mantram japa japa satatam janma safalya mantram kshetrachedaika mantram. This mantra, Krishna mantra, we are discussing the glory of Krishna mantra. You see the last line, Jihve Sri Krishna mantra. This Krishna mantra can completely destroy all our shatrus, all our enemies, which are our own anarthas. Sakalam Upanishadvakyasam puja mantram. All the Upanishads are doing puja to this mantra. Sometime we were discussing, right? Sakala Nigama Valli, the Satphalana. So the Sri Krishna Nama is the ripened fruit of the creeper of all Vedic literatures. Sakala Nigama Valli, Satphalana. So that also is related to the second phrase here. Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram. All the Upanishad Vakyas are doing puja of this mantra, Krishna mantra. Samsaro Cheda Mantram. It can completely destroy our samsara. We have already seen this in another shloka. Samuchita Tamasaha Sangha Niryana Mantram. By chanting the holy name of Krishna, our attachment to this material existence, our material desires are diminished and destroyed completely. Sarvaishwaryaika mantram. This can bestow all spiritual opulences. Vyasana bhujaga sandashta santrana mantram. So all the vyasanas, all the bad habits that we have are like bhujaga, are like snakes. Okay. So just like snakes are charmed and subdued by mantras, our snake-like material desires also can be completely controlled and eliminated by chanting Krishna mantra. Jihve Sri Krishna mantram japa japa satatam janma safalya mantram. So always chant the holy names of the Lord. Janma safalya mantram. This mantra can make your life successful. So these are the effects of chanting the holy name of Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has specifically appeared to give this holy name to all of us, holy name medicine to all of us. Chiradadattam nijagupta vittam svaprema namamrutamatyudaraha apamaram yo vitatara gauraha krishno janebhyastamaham prapadye. Chirat adattam nijagupta vittam. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended to give something to all of us that he has not given for a long time. Chirat adattam. Dattam is giving. Adattam is not giving. He has not given for a long time. Nija Gupta Vittam means it's the most secret treasure that he has hidden for a long time, which he has not given for a long time. What is that? Swaprema nama amrutamatyudaraha. Swaprema. Krishna prema he wanted to give. How does he give that Krishna prema? Through Krishna nama. Nama is the holy name of the Lord. Amritam. So prema and nama. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us Krishna prema through Krishna nama. And that is the greatest nectar that we can attain. Swaprema nama amrutamatyudaraha. Ati udaraha is the most benevolent incarnation. Of all the forms of the Lord, this form of the Lord, as a devotee of Krishna, is most benevolent. Because a devotee is more merciful than the Lord, isn't it? When the Lord appears as a devotee, he has the mercy of a devotee, he has the powers of the Lord. Right? The combined mercy and power of the Lord both come. So the Lord is so merciful, he's so capable of delivering everybody. So, secondly, devotee is more merciful than the Lord. So the mercy of a devotee and the power of the Lord are combined in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the Lord appears in the mood of a devotee, he is more merciful. And he's giving this holy name and Krishna Prema to even Pamaras, even the most fallen people. Gaura Krishno Janebhya Tamaham Sapajye. Let us take shelter of that Gaura Krishna. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. So, along with his other associates, Panchatatvas, Mahaprabhu has plundered Prema Bhandara and he started distributing to everyone and inundated everyone, right, with this Prema Bhandara. For us to effectively chant the holy names, we need to have this mood. That is, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadahari. The chanting means accepting oneself as eternal servant of Krishna. That is chanting. So, now chanting requires humility. I think we can go deeper into these words. Humility, tolerance, and respecting others and not expecting respect from others. Let's focus on this word humility. So, chanting requires humility and chanting increases our humility. Tricky words, right? So, if we are humble, we can chant better. If we chant more, we can become more and more humble. So, what is the relationship between this chanting and humility? So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Suklambara Brahmachari that you should chant the holy name of Krishna and you can effectively chant the holy names by being humble. Fine. So he says that if you are humble, you can chant better. So your humility makes your chanting very effective. That's what he told Suklambara Brahmachari. And that same Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Vasudeva leper, he embraced Vasudeva leper and he transformed him into a very beautiful person. You know that story, right? I don't want to repeat that. I don't have to repeat that, right? So Vasudeva leper, he had leprosy and is a great devotee. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced this Vasudeva leper and the leprosy is gone. And this Vasudeva leper immediately said, "My dear Lord, I received this special mercy from you. So I could become proud. Can you please save me from pride?" Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You will not become proud if you chant the holy names. You will develop humility if you chant the holy name of Krishna." So chanting the holy name of Krishna will increase our humility. Mahaprabhu said to Vasudeva leper. And Mahaprabhu only said to Saklambara Brahmachari that if you are humble, then you can chant it. So which comes first? Humility or chanting? So when we begin to chant, we are accepting our subordinate position to Krishna, consciously or unconsciously. So a person who is completely powerful, who thinks himself powerful, and who is completely independent in his mentality, such a person doesn't take help from others. I am independent. I don't need anyone's help. I am self-sufficient. I don't need support from anybody. So that kind of pride is there in a person, in a conditioned soul. But if someone is chanting Krishna's name or anybody's name, Krishna, 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 he is showing some humility. Yes, there is somebody who is better than me also. There's somebody who's more powerful than me also. I need that person's help also. The more we chant, the more we express our dependence on Krishna, the more we acknowledge Krishna's superiority over us. A conditioned soul stays in the material world because he has a competitive mentality. God, who is God? I am God. There is no God. So there is a competitive mentality with God directly. I am the controller, I am the master, I am the enjoyer, I am supremely independent. So that mentality, that lordship mentality, keeps one in the material world. So when you're chanting Krishna's names, you're coming out of that mentality of being the controller, master, proprietor, and enjoyer, and you're acknowledging Krishna as the controller, master, proprietor, and enjoyer. And the more we chant, the more we acknowledge Krishna's superiority over us and supremacy over everyone, the more we become humble. The process of chanting of Krishna's name by default has to be accompanied with humility. Without humility, no one can effectively chant. The more we chant, the more humble we become. The more humble we become, the more we can chant effectively. Right? So chanting and humility will go together, will go parallel. Right? Chanting and humility are together. Without humility, we cannot chant properly. Chant, hey, Krishna, come here. But that kind of chanting is not very impressive to the Lord. Of course, even that is also beneficial to some degree. For an arrogant person, even that much of chanting, utterance of the Lord also has some benefit. But the best way to chant is with humility. Right? So now, chanting means to accept oneself as eternal servant of the Lord. So with this mood of being a servant of the Lord, if we chant, that chanting pleases Krishna a lot. Now, chanting the name of Krishna is not sufficient. One should also cultivate service attitude. So how effectively are we chanting? That effectiveness of our chanting is seen in our service attitude. If one is purified by following Mahaprabhu's orders, that is by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one must certainly be eager to render service to the Lord. So eagerness to do seva to Krishna is a litmus test for effective chanting. I will chant. Whole day I will chant. I will not do any service. Don't call me for seva. I just want to hear and chant. So that kind of nirjana bhajan or bhajan without any seva bhav is not so pleasing to Krishna. Yeah, by that bhajan also one can be benefited, but the best way of chanting is to always be ready and eager for service. So devotional service or bhakti is not just an emotion. Bhakti is an action associated with an emotion. That's why Prabhupada doesn't simply translate bhakti as devotion. He translates bhakti as devotional service. So our devotion has to be accompanied by seva. In fact, in our sadhaka tales, service establishes a better connection with Krishna. So in devotional service, what comes first? Devotion or service? Literally speaking, devotion comes first. Then comes service, devotional service, right? But if you wait for devotion, you will lose service. Better do some service. Okay. By doing that service, eventually devotion also will manifest. So Prabhupada says that an effective chanter is also eager to render service to the Lord. Okay. So this combination of seva and chanting, japa, that will make one sadhaka like effective, right? So Prataprudra Maharaj is not just saying Gauranga, Gauranga, Chaitanya, Chaitanya, Krishna, Krishna. He also did some seva, and Mahaprabhu is so impressed with it, right? So Rupa Goswami and all these great Goswamis, they were all doing some services. Right? So, and one more glory of the holy name. How holy name of the Lord is not just a means to attain the Lord, it is the goal also. After attaining the Lord, what will you do? You chant the holy names. Okay. To attain the Lord, you chant holy names. After attaining the Lord, you again chant Krishna's names out of love. So in practice stage, we chant Krishna's name, and in perfection stage also we chant Krishna's name. Right? So that is seen in this beautiful shloka. Kalyananam nidhanam Kalimalamathanam pavanam pavananam Patheyam yanmumuksho sapadi parapada praptaye prochyamanam Vishramasthanamekam kavivaravachasam jivanam sajjananam Bijam dharmadrumasya prabhavatu bhavatam bhutaye Krishna nama Kalyananam nidhanam. So this holy name of Krishna is the reservoir of all auspiciousness. Kalyananam nidhanam. Kalimalamathanam pavanam pavananam. Kalimalamathanam. This holy name of Krishna can completely destroy all the mala, contamination of Kali Yuga. Pavanam pavananam. Of all the purifying things, holy name is the most purifying thing. Right? Next. Patheyam yanmumuksho sapadi parapada praptaye prochyamanam. When a saintly person is trying to reach the Lord, on his journey, the saintly person's food, the devotee's food on his path to the spiritual world is holy name. Patheyam yanmumuksho. Those are trying to reach the spiritual world, on their path they have to eat something, right? That food is holy name of Krishna. So you're going on a journey from the material world to the spiritual world. Okay. So, and you're equipped with all the processes of devotional service, right? Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc. So on the way you feel a little hungry. What will you do? You have to take some food, right? That food is holy. And you need to rest for some time. Rest is also holy name. That is described in the next line. Vishramasthanamekam. It is the one and only Vishramasthanam. Vishram means resting place. Okay. It's the pleasure garden where the voices of greatest saints, philosophers, and poets play. So, while a traveler is traveling, on the way, he may find a nice garden, he will go and sit there for some time. During the Ratha Yatra, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became a little tired externally. While pulling Jagannath's Ratha, he took some rest, where he went to Jagannath Vallabh Gardens and he sat under a tree. The cool breezes and the chirping of birds kind of gave him a very pleasant experience and he relaxed. Right? Similarly, when you are traveling from material world to spiritual world, you may get tired sometimes. We need some resting place. And that resting place is holy name only. Okay. So Vishramasthanamekam, that resting place, that pleasure garden, is filled with nice, sweet singing birds. Kavivaravachasam jivanam sajjananam. Just like in a garden, some sweet singing birds chirp and give us a pleasant experience. Similarly, holy name of Krishna is so beautifully glorified by great devotees, and that creates a great pleasure to all of us. It relaxes us. So you go and sit in a Shayan Kirtan. It's very relaxing. It's very soothing. Okay. So holy name is our food. Nourishment, source of nourishment in our journey to the spiritual world, journey to Goloka. And holy name is also our relaxing place. Fine. So Jivanam Sajjananam, it is the life of all Sajjanas, righteous people. Bijam Dharma Drumasya, it is the seed of the tree of Dharma. What is the original Dharma? Savaipam Sankaro Dharmo Yato Bhaktira Dhaukshajim. Ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme dharma of all living beings is to perform devotional service unto the Lord. And the most essential part of that service, devotional service unto the Lord, is Kirtan, is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. We'll discuss more of it in the evening session. So, Bijam Dharma Drumasya Prabhavatu Bhavatam Bhutaye Krishna Nama. Let that Krishna Nama, Krishna's holy name, bring transcendental auspiciousness to all of us. This is a prayer to the holy name of the Lord. Holy name is our shelter. So like that, holy name, the glories of holy name are unlimited. So 1 hour is not sufficient. So evening we will discuss a few stories and also a few more shlokas from other scriptures that glorify Krishna's holy name. So thank you very much. It's 12:30. I'll conclude here. Harinam Prabhu ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Very, very grateful to Lord, to Srila Prabhupada, who has given us this opportunity to chant the holy names of the Lord, who has spread this process of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to all countries across the globe, and fulfilled the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without his grace, we don't get this opportunity to chant the holy names of the Lord. We do not understand that holy name, chanting of the holy name has such great importance in one's spiritual life. Without Prabhupada's grace. Grateful to Prabhupada. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Questions or comments? Do we take just a minute?
Yes. So nicely elaborating on the glories of the holy name, Prabhuji, you taught us through various scriptural references how important it is to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You highlighted the mood in which we must chant and several other aspects of chanting, and you gave us some new meanings on how we can remember and improve our chanting. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So I can request devotees who have some questions or clarifications to come forward. Prabhu, I'm just wary of your time. How much time do you have, Prabhu?
We'll take a few minutes, whatever is your protocol.
Yeah. So the next 10 minutes, if devotees have any specific questions on chanting, you may please come forward. You can either put it in the chat or, yeah, that will be easier. There is one question that, why is it so difficult to chant when compared to other services to Krishna? Normally...
Okay. Yes, I think we will discuss elaborately in the evening session. But to keep it short, chanting, technically from one perspective, it's the easiest thing to do. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And if you have to cook for the Lord, you have to sit and eat. If you have to study the scriptures, so much complication. You have to memorize so many shlokas and understand so much of philosophy and technical aspects. But chanting seems to be the simplest thing. But what makes chanting most complicated compared to other limbs of bhakti is our own distracted mind. Because mind cannot focus, mind is restless, mind cannot concentrate on just one mantra for 1.5 to 2 hours. So that makes the process of chanting very difficult for us. So bhakti is done in multiple ways. The 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita it is said. One is Smaranatmika Bhakti, second is Mananatmika Bhakti, third is Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti. Smaranatmika Bhakti is done at the level of mind. So when you are chanting the holy names of the Lord, the biggest obstacle for us to control the mind and focus on the holy name. So it is done at the level of the mind. Yes, hand is counting the beats, tongue is uttering the name, ear is hearing the name. But apart from these functions of the senses, mind plays a major role there. Right? Best chanting is when the mind focuses on the holy name. And not so good chanting is when the mind wanders away. Right? So mind plays a key role. So because mind is very distracted, our chanting of the holy name of the Lord becomes very difficult. We'll discuss more in the evening. But one more point here is, mind is innocent. We cannot blame the mind. Because mind is a servant of false ego. The real villain in our chanting is our false ego. So false ego. Ego is what? Identification. When somebody identifies oneself as a wealthy person, as a king, as a brahmana, as a kshatriya, or as a brahmachari, or as a grahastha, or as a teacher, or a student, or an employer, or a businessman, or an Indian, or an American, or a dog, or a cat, or whatever. When the ego is absorbed in one identity, mind starts thinking, feeling, and willing according to that identity. The biggest what is that called? Support that we can get in chanting is to maneuver that false ego and make it think that I am a servant of Krishna. At the identity level, if we are convinced that we are servants of Krishna, That ego, our ego becomes, false ego becomes true ego, that we are servants of Krishna, and mind starts thinking, feeling, and willing according to that new identity as a servant of Krishna. And in that mood of being a servant of Krishna, we can effectively chant. Effective chanting depends on our absorption of mind in the holy name. But when the mind starts identifying with 100 different designations that we have, according to false ego, if I identify myself as something, some material designation, mind start thinking about that designation, everything connected to that designation during chanting. But if I identify myself as servant of Krishna, always try to see myself as servant of Krishna, mind starts thinking in that way, and in that seva bhava, I can chant effectively. Right? So, and it becomes very difficult when the mind is distracted. So to control the mind becomes it takes a lot of effort. So that's why it's perfect chanting is the most difficult thing to achieve for a sadhaka. One may attain perfection in shastric study, one may attain perfection in doing various services, physical services, or deity worship, this and that. But perfection of chanting of the holy names of the Lord, complete concentration. Evam priyaha, what is that shloka? There is 11th canto, there is shloka. Perfect chanting is when tears come from the eyes of the chanter. As soon as he hears or chants the name of Krishna, tears automatically come. Mind start automatically gets into the absorption in Krishna's prema, and voice falters, teeth stand on end. So all of us have this potential, but as long as the mind is distracted, we cannot access that potential which is there within us. So, and services purifies. Shastric study also purifies us.
Another question: if someone is rendering service but having less interest in chanting, how can we encourage them to take shelter of the holy name?
We need to emphasize the importance of chanting also. Physical services are easier. As I said, Smaranatmika Bhakti, Abhyasrupa Bhakti. Smaranatmika Bhakti is done on the level of mind, where you remember the Lord, and you focus the mind on Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila. Maranatmika Bhakti is done on the level of intelligence, where you must study Shastra and understand things intellectually. Abhyasarupa Bhakti is done on the level of senses, where you start engaging your senses in Krishna's Seva. Right? So this is easiest. So just imagine 8 hours. Tomorrow you're chanting 12 hours. Okay, just take 8 hours, for example. So 8 hours of doing some seva. They are making preparations for Janmashtami festival. 8 hours. Case number 1. Case number 2. 8 hours of studying Shastra. Case number 3. 8 hours of chanting, which exhausts us more. Case number 3 generally exhausts us more. Case number 1 is easiest thing to do. So generally our tendency is to choose the easiest thing. Okay, I will do physical services. Chanting becomes very difficult. So that's why Prabhupada has given us a regimen where we get access to all three. 2 little chanting, 2 hours of chanting, and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, engage your intelligence in Bhagavatam, and then also do physical services throughout. So we need a perfect balance between service to the Lord through mind, through intelligence, and through senses. If we focus only on the senses, connecting our senses to the Lord, and if we don't put an effort to focus our mind and develop the emotions for the Lord, it becomes dry after some time. Okay? Bhakti is not just physical service. It's devotional service, right? Not just service, it's devotional service. So chanting is a perfect way to cultivate that devotion, cultivate that emotion for Krishna. Okay.
So maybe we'll take just one more questions. Shamasundari Mataji, would you like to ask? You have raised your hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, thank you for a very nice class and inspiring us to chant very nicely. And Prabhuji, I wanted to ask you, I have 2 questions. One is that we are chanting, while chanting, can we think that we are in Vrindavan taking parikrama of Govardhan or sitting at Radha Kund? or maybe we are sitting with our Guru Maharaj and chanting, or Srila Prabhupada, something like that. And the another question is, what is the minimum amount of time that chanting is needed? Because sometimes it is 7 minutes, 6 minutes, sometimes it comes to 5 minutes also. So that time I think that, did I not chant all the names, or maybe 108 names have not gone, or something like that? I wanted to check with you.
Okay. So, first question, can we meditate on doing some Govardhan Parikrama, Darshan of deities, or something else, sitting with Guru Maharaj? One thing is, the greatest advice given to us is, you chant with your tongue, utter the name with your tongue, and hear with your ear. So it's a popular suggestion that we get, which is true, but that does not also mean that mind has no role to play. Okay, sometimes it could become very mechanical. Okay, chant and hear, utter and hear, utter and hear. Mind has no role to play. So chanting is also done along with the mind. Prabhupada says that it's not just an exercise of tongue and ear. It's not just an exercise of senses. It is a great exercise done through the mind also, through the mind mainly. So now, if that helps, if you just think that, okay, if Guru Maharaj is there in the temple hall chanting in that corner, I will be more conscious in chanting, right? Definitely. If Maharaj is not there, then I may not focus. Sometimes I may see here and there and all. But if in the presence of Maharaj, if we chant, definitely we'll become more focused and conscious in chanting. If that meditation helps us in improving our chanting, why not do that? Say if you are present in Vrindavan doing Govardhan Parikrama or sitting next to Radha Shamsundar deities, right? That will definitely make us more conscious in chanting. If that meditation helps us in chanting better, we can do that. There's no restriction as such. It's not a prohibition that you cannot think of Dham, you cannot think of Guru, you cannot think of deities while chanting. So if that helps us in chanting effectively, we should do that. Right? Second point is chanting time. I would say it is personal, completely personal. Some people may chant fast. Some people may chant slowly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You see, you record this voice. Okay, the second chanting must have taken more time than the first chanting, but both are chanting. So a person may pronounce the holy name at a faster pace, and someone may pronounce at a slower pace, but it's totally individual. It's not that someone who is completing a round in 5-6 minutes, he is not a good chanter in comparison to a person who takes 8-9 minutes to complete a round. Okay, it depends on the focus. Some people can chant faster. People who are accustomed to chanting longer rounds, like 64 rounds on every Ekadashi, they may complete their 64 rounds in 6 hours. It takes 2 hours to chant 16 rounds. 2 into 4 should be 8. But how can he complete in 6 hours only? Maybe he chanted 48 rounds, not 64 rounds. No, they can complete 64 in 6 hours only, because they have picked up the pace. So pace is totally individual. Someone may find it difficult to pronounce faster. For someone it is very natural to pronounce faster. That's totally individual. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
All right, Prabhuji. Thank you very much once again. Very, very grateful to you, Prabhu. And we look forward to part 2 of today's discussion. That's at 7:30 India time. So I request all the assembled devotees to please be there, log in 5 minutes before, so that we can continue to hear nectar from Prabhuji and be inspired for tomorrow's Japa Marathon. Thank you once again, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.